Hello and good morning. This is Olivia with Tarot and Coffee with Olivia.GoDaddySites.com. That's my email address. I'm sorry, it's my website address. And it's easy to get to, it's easy to book appointments. If you're interested in booking an appointment, please do so. I do have some openings next week, and I look forward to meeting you and seeing you and doing this thing we do. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming every day, subscribing, coming back. Um, I can't even describe the feeling that I get when I wake up in the morning and know that I can come have this communion with you. It's become very important to me, and it really lifts me up in a way that I never would have imagined. I really, really appreciate you guys, and I really need you to know that. Today is Sunday, June 21st. And I forgot to tell you yesterday there was an eclipse last night. There will be an eclipse of the moon coming up on July 5th. So, in between this time last night and June 5th is a big transformative period of time for all of us. Um, I could tell you that just by reading the news. So I know that's not anything new, but that's what significance those eclipses have. One was of the moon, the sun last night, I think, and one is of the moon on July 5th. Um, my intention is to with this is to give us something to look forward to throughout the day or think about throughout the day, how our day is going to go, what things we might think about, how we might better ourselves and our relationship with ourselves and others. um, Always to enlighten and never to scare. I'm not really wanting to give any bad energy out in the world, although we will talk about some dark subjects. Not necessarily. Yeah, there is one of the cards is kind of, ooh, I'm giving clues. Should I do that? Mm, this coffee's good. Coffee usually is, I dig the smell just as much as I dig drinking the stuff. So, do not ever let these cards or tarot readings take the place of other professionals you might need. For instance, I myself see a psychiatrist and a dentist. I don't know how tarot cards would help you with dental work, but we're supposed to say that you need to seek out professionals where professionals are due. I am a professional card reader, which is kind of known as entertainment, but I feel like it's meditation. I feel like this is a meditation that we use. Um, so I do have a thought of the day, and it's a big apology for something I did yesterday, and that is see this little guy right here. What did I call him? A burrito? Oh boy, sorry. That is not at all what this is. This is not a burrito, a little burro. It is a horse. It is a carving of a horse, and it is in the likeness of a Zuni fetish, which is a Pueblo Indian tribe. The Zuni are. Not to be confused with the Sunni, which is something on another part of the world. This little guy, you see the turquoise he has on his back. That is not a burden that he's carrying. That is a gift to him. Um, the fetishes are carvings made by are carvings made, and then a medicine man blesses them and endows them with a spirit. So they are magical. This guy, or when I say guy or he, it means all genders. That's really important that we respect and one another. And those are just the pronouns I'm using to encompass all genders. Um, but this little guy may or may not be, I want to give you really good views of him, may or may not be a fetish. He's most likely not, because fetishes are not sold, they're very holy. Um, the purpose of this particular fetish would be, especially as a horse, to protect its owner for sure. They all do that. Um, as a horse, he specifically helps relationships, friendships, partnerships, romance. He especially strengthens that. I'm going to put him over here by on his pedestal by his little turquoise because they love turquoise because turquoise is holy. And I don't know why we zoomed in there, but we can zoom in. That's fine. But we're supposed to feed them because they're living. So if it's a carving, I'm sure he's not hungry. But if he is a fetish, then they need to be fed. Their care that you give them is directly related to the power that they give the owner. So another thing this Zuni fetish or a Zuni fetish would do is to give the person who owns it power and expands their abilities. All fetishes have innate healing powers. So he's been locked up in a little box. So we're going to take really good care of him from now on and maybe name him something like, I don't know, something. If you have an idea, put it in the comments below. And if you know anything more about Zuni fetishes or how we can find out if this is an actual fetish or if it is a carving and likeness of a fetish. And for now, we're going to put him to the side respectfully with his oats in case he needs them still. They're usually fed cornmeal, not oats. But that's what I had. I had oats. So, the stones. Check them out. Aren't they beautiful? Amethyst, tiger eye, honey citrine, chalcopyrite, bronzed wasp nest, and the Om symbol. So take your time, check out these beautiful rocks and crystals, take a pic. But before you do that, let's take 3 deep breaths. I want you to go in through your nose and out through your mouth. And it's okay to sigh a little bit as it comes out. In through your nose, blow out the tension of the evening and the morning. In through your nose. Deep out through your mouth. And what we're doing is we're honing your intuition and mine. As I read the cards, it is important that I do use my intuition. You're using your intuition as well. First of all, to choose your card. And second of all, intuition is a very important tool that we can use for anything in our lives. But when reading the cards, your intuition is important too because that is how it resonates with you. So if you need more time to pick one of the stones, please pause the video and take time to do that. If not, we're going to move on to the amethyst, and I have something different, a different way to do this today. I'm going to take your amethyst and turn over your card. This is the Knight of Pentacles. One of the first things that came up for me with this card today is sexuality. This guy, he's a sexy king. That's not something I always mention. But it came out today. He may be a person that you know. He may be you. He may symbolize something else completely. But as we talk about him, he's also someone who, because he's pentacles, he's business oriented. He's often an entrepreneurial. He's got an entrepreneurial spirit, an entrepreneur. I'm trying to say things. Okay, pronounce them correctly. He's grounded, strong, stable, virile. He's a king, so he serves his people as their king, and his people serve him as their king. So this card is, I know it's a king, but often these cards are about serving. This guy is successful and level-headed. If you have this card today, He could be a friend. He could be someone that you do business with. This is someone that you can trust. And it is, I wonder, I think I'm going to focus in. He's got these little flowers in the back. I think that shows, I don't know. I should know these things. So I'm going to look them up. He's got the pentacles in his hand. His color is green, which is a very healing color. It's possible that he's a doctor. I'm getting a feeling like that. So if you got this card today, I'm doing something different, so I'm trying to do more with my hands, and I'm kind of like flubbing it, but we're not going to start over. We're just gonna keep going. So if you got this card today, what do I want you to do with it? What is going on here? Just be aware of this person. If it's you, then I want you to take the time to know your power and understand that you are a guiding light to people, that you are a strong person who brings people together, especially in business. He's also someone that can be helpful if you need him. If he's someone else in your life today, I want you to look at them through a new light. If it's something that's resonating with you, if there's somebody that you're thinking about, I guess I'm going to hold this up while we talk. If it's someone that you're thinking about, I want to say that to look at them in a different light and understand that they are, I want to say that they might be a romantic, he might be a romantic encounter. So it might be someone that you haven't really thought of as romantic before in the past. So look at that person differently today. Let's just see how that goes. You may already be in a relationship, so that may not res with you, and that's okay. We're going to put this card away, and we're going to move to the beautiful and wonderful tiger eye. It's the eye of the tiger. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm sorry, I think I'm moving the camera around a lot. I need to, I'm still experimenting with this setup and everything. Oh, we are still focused in. Also, if you want to see your card, this looks like an unfortunate card. Let's move up. Let's go ahead and focus in on that so that you can see. You see, we have this young woman here in the foreground. We have someone in the background and someone who looks like he's been injured. He's got blood on his head. He looks like he's that they might be on the same team. Sometimes when I see this card, I think of friendly fire, something that happened that is unfortunate, something that happened in an accident. I'm going to hold your tiger eye up to basically it's something that's happened that you're feeling bad about, something that's happened that you're feeling like maybe even guilty about. What I want you to do is I want you to cut this loose. This is something that happened in the past. If you have this card today, I want you to put it behind you. You have especially if you've already done your amends and your apologies and apologies. I know it's causing you pain and heartache, but this is something that is still like more prominent in your head than it is in maybe what the other person has probably forgiven you at this point. That's a feeling I'm getting from this card today. If that resonates with you, then that's great. If you can't think of what this might be, I want you to think about possibly not a person that you hurt, but something that you did maybe even in your childhood. This is something that may go back pretty far. But this is your reading of the day because it's saying let go of it so that you can move forward. And that's your card of the day. And we're going to put your tiger eye here. And next we are going to move to the honey citrine, which is a beautiful, beautilicious. I know it's not focused, but doesn't it look kind of like it's glowing? Oh, it's so nice. Okay, so we'll put that here. Let's move this card forward. And, ooh, and focus. Okay, let's get to where we've got this card in the center, and we're really looking at that. Okay, the Magician. So, whenever I see the Magician, I think of John the Baptist and his time in the wilderness eating locusts, finding his relationship to God in a very poignant and personal way. I kind of want to move these cards a little off to the side. That's better. You see the full moon in the background. You see the unicorn up here. You see the horns on his head, which have to do with longevity, but also a relationship to nature as he's wearing this skin cloak. He has the runes in front of him. He's magical. He's reading those runes. He has resources that you can't even imagine. Magical resources. This is you. You and your magical self. We all have a magical self. You see the. Let's see if I can pull this out just a little bit. You can see the Stonehenge in the background of this card. Maybe if I move it just a little bit further. There we go. See the Stonehenge and the full moon in the back and the unicorn and the stars. The stars, there are so many stars in that sky, and the stars stand for spirit guides. So the Magician is really connected to the spirit world just as much as he is connected to this world that we live in, that we share. He's got fire that looks like it's just coming out of a pipe in the ground or practically nowhere. He has that ability. He has these amazing abilities that get him through. He's got a wolf friend. Wolves are mostly loners. But this wolf looks like he's actually coming to the Magician for some advice or conversation or help or something like that. If you have this card today, what I would say is get in touch with your magical self while I have a sip of coffee. I bet you can smell it through the camera. Doesn't that? It's so tasty. Resourcefulness. That's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about your personal resourcefulness. Oh, I guess also I want you to see the lightning. Sometimes magic just happens suddenly. So, I really want you to think about what resources you have in places that you really never thought of. Unusual places, like pull that rabbit out of your hat if you need a rabbit. He also has a chalice here, or that makes me think this one right down here, which makes me think of Mary, Mother of God, because she is the Holy Grail. Her womb. She held Jesus in her womb. So I think of her when I see those. So he has a personal relationship with some very important people, personages, spirit guides. Look for magic in your life today, especially if you're feeling desperation. I want you to close your eyes and take those 3 magical breaths like we did earlier and see if something comes to you if you're having a problem. This Magician is definitely you today. I do not feel like this is someone working in your life. This is you. So I want you to seek out your magical self. Maybe, you can always say a prayer. Prayers are a really good form of, what do they call it? Manifestation. Okay, so that's a really positive and exciting card to have, and I feel excited for you. So we are going to move now to, we're going to make this a little bit smaller. I know I'm fussing with the camera. We'll figure this out. We're gonna figure out how to do this. Again, I feel like this particular stone is called chalcopyrite or calcopyrite. I think it's chalcopyrite. I think the C is hard. Copper ore. It's got a lot of stuff in there, but copper ore is some of the main substance of this particular beauty. And so now we're going to call up your card, which is the Page of Rods. The Page of Rods. So I think of rods. Rods are also known as wands. So they're this wand right here he's holding in his hand. What a wand does is something a lot like what a fetish might do. They increase your own personal power. It's a tool that you work with to help create the things that you want in your life. Notice that he has in his hand, he has a message. The pages often have messages for people. I see some ferns in the background, which speak to ancient times, since ferns are fairly ancient. His color is a red-orange color, which is a power color. This particular page can be impulsive. Well, that's because of his youth. But he's also usually the bearer of good news. So you might get a phone call today, you might get an email, you might get something that gives you some good news today. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to show you the whole card. Also, if you have this card today, I would say take advantage of your creativity that comes through the page, because he is someone in his youth. He actually he's you know how teenagers are. He's feeling his feelings a lot, and that makes him impulsive, but it also makes him really enthusiastic in his creativity. He's often very sincere, very ardent, very loving, very sometimes one-tracked mind in the way that they work on the things that they do. Basically, if you have this card today, what I would suggest is listen for a message, something that's good, but also I want to put some. I kind of want to say passion, but it's more like his purpose, or his whatever else he might be doing. Like he might just be working on a painting or something like that, or maybe even he's working painting on a house. His love is in that, though. That's the thing about the Page of Rods, is he's very ardent. He works hard. He doesn't just leave it. Yeah. So I do believe this is you today. This is not necessarily someone you know, although it may be. You will be getting a message. I just got a tingly little message. Think back to your dream. Do you remember your dream that you had last night? There might be some of this message in that dream. If you don't remember your dream from last night, but you are able to remember dreams, some people aren't.